You weigh maybe 60 kilograms. Your ears never stop moving. Somewhere in the trees around you, something is always watching. This is a deer's reality every single morning. Not once in a while. Every morning, for every deer, for its entire life. You have eyes on the sides of your head instead of the front. That gives you a field of view of almost 310 degrees. You can see almost everything around you except a small blind spot directly behind your tail. Humans see about 180 degrees. You see nearly the whole world at once, and you still can't relax. Why not? Because seeing everything isn't the same as understanding everything. And in a forest, understanding everything is a full-time job you can never clock out of. Let's reconstruct what your day actually looks like. You wake up before sunrise, if you ever fully slept at all. Deer don't sleep in one long block like humans do. You take short naps, sometimes only a few minutes long, scattered across the day and night. Researchers who have tracked white-tailed deer using GPS collars and motion-sensitive cameras have found that deer rarely commit to more than 20 or 30 minutes of rest at a time. The Penn State Deer Forest Study, a long-running research project led by wildlife biologist Dwayne Diefenbach, has spent years tracking exactly this. Their collared deer show a pattern of near-constant low-level alertness, broken into short rest periods rather than one deep sleep. You are built to wake up fast, because in your world, the animals that sleep too deeply don't get a second chance. Your ears are shaped like satellite dishes, and they don't just sit there. Each one can rotate independently, almost 180 degrees, funneling sound toward your brain from two different directions at once. A twig snapping 30 meters away in dense brush isn't just noise to you. It's data. Is it a squirrel? Is it wind? Is it something heavier, moving slower, moving with intention? You have to answer that question in under a second, every time, for the rest of your life. This is what biologists call the landscape of fear, a term popularized through the research of ecologist Joel Berger, who studied how the mere presence of predators changes prey behavior even when no attack ever happens. Berger's work, much of it built on years of observing elk, moose, and deer in North America, showed something remarkable. Animals don't just react to actual danger. They shape their entire lives around the possibility of danger. Where you eat, when you eat, how long you linger at a stream, even how fast you chew, all of it is quietly rewritten by fear you cannot see and might never encounter. So picture this. It's late afternoon, golden light slanting low through the trees. You've found a patch of clover at the edge of a clearing. It's good food. Nutrient-dense, easy to digest, exactly what your body needs to build fat reserves before winter. But a clearing is dangerous. Open ground means no cover, and no cover means a predator, whether it's a coyote, a bobcat, or in some regions a wolf, has a clean line to you. So you don't just walk in and start eating. You stand at the tree line first. You lower your head partway, but not all the way. You chew slowly, deliberately, lifting your head every few seconds to scan the clearing again. This behavior has a name among wildlife researchers: vigilance sampling. Every bite costs you a fraction of a second of awareness, and your body is constantly calculating whether that trade is worth it. This is not paranoia. This is math. And you've been solving this equation since the day you were born. Speaking of birth, if you are a fawn, your first weeks of life follow one of the strangest survival strategies in the entire animal kingdom. You don't run. You don't hide in a den. You lie perfectly still in tall grass, spotted coat blending into dappled sunlight, and you wait. Your mother, called a doe, doesn't stay beside you. She actually keeps a distance, visiting only a few times a day to nurse, because a scent and movement would draw predators straight to you. Wildlife biologist Valerus Geist, one of the most influential researchers in ungulate behavior, spent decades documenting exactly this kind of maternal strategy across deer, elk, and mountain sheep. Geist's research revealed that this isn't neglect. It's calculated distance, a survival strategy passed down through evolution because fawns that panic and run are fawns that get caught, while fawns that freeze and stay hidden often survive. You spend the first few weeks of your life essentially invisible by choice. Now fast forward. You've grown. You're an adult deer navigating a forest that has changed more than most people realize. In many parts of North America, the very trees around you exist in the shape they do partly because of deer like you. This idea traces back to the forest ecology observations of Aldo Leopold, working in the hills of Wisconsin in the mid-20th century. Leopold noticed something unsettling. When deer populations grow too large, and their natural predators disappear, Deer can eat a forest's understory down to almost nothing, stripping away the young saplings, wildflowers, and shrubs that dozens of other species depend on. Leopold watched a forest change in real time, and it reshaped how ecologists think about the invisible thread connecting predator, prey, and plant. Here's the twist, though. It isn't the fear of being eaten that shapes a forest the most. It's the fear itself, independent of whether an attack ever comes. When wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone National Park in the 1990s, researchers observed something that surprised even seasoned ecologists. Elk, close cousins of deer, began avoiding certain valleys entirely, not because wolves were constantly hunting there, but because the risk was simply too high to justify lingering. Willow trees and aspen saplings that had been chewed down for decades began growing back in those avoided areas. The presence of a predator, more than the act of predation itself, redrew the map of an entire ecosystem. You, as a deer, are living proof of that same principle every single day. Your caution isn't wasted energy. It's the invisible hand shaping which trees grow, which birds nest where, which streams stay shaded and cool. And still, despite every adaptation, every second of vigilance, every hidden fawn and rotating ear, you're not guaranteed to survive the winter. Deep snow is one of your greatest threats, not because the cold itself kills you outright, but because it strips away access to food while making it exhausting to move. Your body slows its metabolism in response, a physiological adjustment researchers have documented extensively in wintering deer populations. You conserve energy by staying still for longer stretches, digesting slowly, waiting out the season rather than fighting it directly. You are, in almost every sense, a creature built entirely around managing risk. Not eliminating it. Managing it. And that might be the most surprising part of all. We tend to imagine survival in nature as a story of raw power, claws and speed and strength. But your entire existence, layered over millions of years of evolution, tells a different story. Survival, most of the time, isn't about winning a fight. It's about never being in one. It's about calculating, second by second, which risks are worth taking and which ones aren't, using instincts refined by every deer that came before you, all the way back through Geist's careful field notes, through Leopold's changing forests, through Berger's invisible landscapes of fear. So the next time you notice yourself hesitating before making a decision, weighing a risk against a reward, scanning a room before committing to something, remember this. You share more with a deer standing at the edge of a clearing than you might think. You weigh far more than 60 kilograms. Your ears don't rotate independently. But somewhere in your own daily life, something is always watching, always calculating, and you, too, are constantly deciding whether it's safe enough to take the next step forward.